this room is all the positives. So how you get money in, how you can help your club grow and sustain. It's not fines, suspensions, rules, and policies. So with this schedule, if you have seen the community schedule, the QR codes are on the wall if you want to see the schedule as well. I've kept it really relevant to clubs with my experience in 24. So last year was my first year working with clubs. What are the programs they engage in? What are the programs they like to invest in as well from the volunteers perspective? So I've tried to keep that, and we have those speakers here today as well. So this is just an overview of how the presentation is going to go through. We are going to just touch on the club development staff from the VAFA, talk about the club support page, the grants and fundraising opportunities available for clubs, the community partners that engage with the VAFA. We also do the recognition awards, the monthly one for the volunteers and the coaches, sharing of best practice that we do every end of season, where clubs who do really well in different aspects of their off-field responsibilities, they like to share their stories, and clubs can look into how other VAFA clubs do really well, as for example sponsorships or coaching or etc. We'll be touching on the themed rounds that are available that the VAFA would be doing in 2025 season, and some of the potential ones that the clubs can look into as well. And this is the most important bit for me, and I think it's for the clubs as well. So we do this club health check survey at the end of the season, just to understand how the clubs have gone off field. So that would be finances, numbers, with the coaching programs that they have been involved in, women and girls programs, etc., and how we at the BAFA can support those initiatives that the clubs have requested for. So this is the Darren Flanagan, as I said, manager of the community and club support department. This is myself. These are the responsibilities that we look into. If you look closely, Darren looks after the bigger picture at the VAFA, and I work more closely with the clubs one-on-one. We also have Claire Castle, who's a new staff, started last June. Claire is looking after the gambling project that we just heard in the next auditorium. Any questions around the gambling project, please reach out to Claire. If you go onto the VAFA website, if you click on the club admin tab up there, you see the club support drop down. And if you click on the club supports, that's the page where you get all the resources around volunteer management or off-field responsibilities for the club. So it has all the tabs for welfare resources, grants, calendar. The calendar involves the key points, the key dates for the VAFA club. So that involves the finals dates, the Big V lunches, the Big V games, etc. So this is how, if you click on the club support page on the VAFA website, this is how it looks. So you'll see there are the resource tab, welfare, grants, and calendar. All the community stories are in that tab as well. So if you need any support around, if you want to recognize your volunteers, coaches, if you see the blue button there, that's where I'll be putting all the information. VAFA Club Share, as I spoke about the best practice videos that we do every season, that goes in there as well. So if you go into that tab, you'll see other VAFA clubs who have spoken about how they manage themed rounds or do Wings program by Hawthorn. They do that really well. And then we have the new player assistance program, which I'll be talking about later in the day. Themed rounds, and what are the themed rounds for the season, and the potential ones with all resources, and how clubs can manage those potential themed rounds for their club. All the resources can be found out in the themed rounds tab. Club conference, if you don't have to take any screenshots or photos, this is all been recorded, so that will go on Monday. Both the footy and the community, the whole session is going to be on the website with all the slides available there. So if you missed anything, if you go onto this club conference tab on the website, that's where you'll get all the information. Grants and fundraisings. I think this is another a major aspect as to how we can work now in 2025 and start off really well. In 24, I worked with clubs really closely on grants. That's my personal opinion, that we all here are volunteers, but we all have a full-time job as well. So putting in a grant application or in the deadline is really hard. So I have helped clubs to put in applications on their behalf and then give them the login details. But I make sure that I review the application and make sure that the project is what they're trying to prioritize. So that's a service that we provide at the VAFA. So So there are two grants that are open now. The Telstra one is open, the round two, and the SRV Sporting Clubs grant is going to open soon as well. If you see the initiatives, there's a lot of crossover of initiatives. So my suggestion to clubs is all have chalk down all the projects that you want to look into. It could be anything. It could be small as you need funding for footies. It could be lighting projects. It could be electronic scoreboard, POS machines, anything. Just chalk it down on a list, and then let's prioritize which projects you'll get maximum funding in which of the um, uh, under which grant. So sometimes clubs put POS machines on both, which then it doesn't make any sense. Like you'll get the funding, but it's only for one project. So it's really important that we prioritize which projects we look into and how well we put in our applications as well. So the main difference in the SRV one, if you see, is in the eligibility. So if you've got a grant that was successful last year, you're not eligible for this year. And with the SRV one, you can't backdate the application. So you got to put in your application now, put in the quote, and then purchase the product. Whereas for the Telstra Footy Country Grant, you can purchase any product now and then put in the application and just attach the invoice as the supporting document. So really easy if we prioritize and make sure that we put projects in through these SRV and the Telstra Footy Grant, really smart in that process. That will be really good.
But put your applications in as quick as you can. If you need help putting them in or writing them, that's what we're here for. So you're saying it's a laborious process. Ask for help and we can help you do it.
These are the fundraising opportunities. So again, I mentioned the TAC Club Rewards Program is it's easy 10 grand into the pocket. It's just promotion of the TAC messaging by the club and how it's done in those 2 months. I know we had few clubs who did really well last year. So how creative you have been, how well you're promoted on the website, social media. Some clubs, they use their players for that month. So they said we'll use Instagram stories and make videos, making sure that we promote this message. So some clubs carpooled that month. So everybody just carpooled, and that's the message of no drink driving or speeding. So that's being creative is what they're trying to look into. So easy money into, again, 10 grand into the pocket. Again, if we worked one-on-one on this, I specify the one-on-one a lot because I talk to other clubs. I know what ideas are being floated around the VAFA community. I mentioned that to those clubs and they try to think on those lines as well. So something that we can work together as well. The Good for Toyota Good for Footy raffle, again another initiative which few clubs did really well in 2024. I think Mazen Lord was fourth nationally, raising a lot of money through this program as well. So again, a great initiative. With my feedback or my experience through meetings last year was when they had a project behind it. So there was one club who wanted 25 footballs for 2025 season. So they had that project behind it, and that's how they promoted the footy raffle. So it's only $5, and whatever you earn through this footy raffle. So if you earn $100, you get $100. There's no cut in between, and if you get 20 grand, you get 20 grand. So there was another club who wanted to raise money for electronic scoreboard. So they have a project behind it. I know where I'm putting my $5 into. So Darren will be touching on Australian Sports Foundation in next slides. Every LGA has their own grants tab as well on their website. So again, when we talk, I'll be covering that grants page as well later on. So we have that grants page and we have linked all the LGAs and the grants tab in that. So you don't have to scroll around, scroll through the council website. So please have a look through the council grants as well in your own LGAs. This is just a Canva tile that I did end of last year, just to see how we went in comparison to 2023. So if you see, there were more clubs engaging in the TAC Club Rewards Program, the amount that it was raised that came into VAFA clubs. The Telstra one, again, this has probably has gone down again. It's because of the funding that was available through the state. So it goes up and down with Telstra. But again, there were more clubs applying for that grant. So if it's difficult for your club to put in an application, just reach out to me, Darren, and we can do that for you. the Good for Footy raffle, again, a great initiative and some great ideas behind the fundraising, and a lot of clubs got a lot out of it. So something that we can work together for 2025 season, and something to look forward to as well. So this is the grants page. So when you go onto the club support tab on the website, this is the grants page. We have the grant support request form as well if you need any assistance, but you can also flick me a text, call, or an email. How to write a grant application, the resource there as well, revenue generation, AFL club help resources as well. And these are the different tabs of the grant. So if you click on those, it will take you straight to the grant resource. And this is what I was talking about. So we have linked all the councils down at the bottom of the page. So VAFA community partners. So Darren looks after this as well. So that's in his role. So we have Tackler Feelings, which is a great one of the very good partners for the VAFA and makes a huge difference in the VAFA community. They will be talking about the program, which is free mental health workshop for all the VAFA clubs, and they will be talking after the break. The Gambling Harm Project, the Real Stakes, Claire Castle is the one to contact. We have First Aid Management. We have signed a 3-year deal with them. So they do trainer courses for VAFA community clubs. So we can do that at your own clubs as well. So they will be talking about, so we have locked in lots of dates. I haven't locked in venues because I'm going to reach out to clubs if they're interested to have those sessions for their trainers as well. And there is an opportunity which we need to have a chat again with them. They have a pool of trainers, so who could potentially look for some casual work or volunteer work at clubs. So we're trying, because I know trainers is another one that's really it's really hard to get at clubs. So something that we are working with them as well. Relationships Australia Victoria, they do a gender equity program which clubs can look into as well. AFL Victoria, one of the biggest partners for us, they help the club in coach development, education accreditation. They will be talking to us after me and Darren. Club developers development, so they support the league through grants, resources, recognition, women and girls program, and umpiring as well. And these are the other VAFA community partners. So ASF, Darren will have a chat about it after this slide. BCNA, he also do a themed round around it. Good Friday appeal and the TAC as well.
So basically, the Australian Sport Federation set up ability for your club to be registered, and then when people donate to your club, it becomes a tax deduction. As long as you haven't got a written agreement that if they give you X, you give them Y, the money that they give you is tax deductible. Yes, pretty simple. So if you got a player sponsorship and someone gives you $1,000, if you put it through the Australian Sports Foundation, that becomes tax deductible. The other thing which I didn't know about till last week was a thing called split ticketing. So if you've got let's say it's an annual ball and the ticket's $150, the cost to you is $50 and the other 100's a donation. If you advertise that it's a split ticket, that the $50 is for the function and the other 100's a donation, that 100 becomes tax deductible. So the profit margin that you would put on a function, if you advertise it as a split ticket, that becomes tax deductible as well. Which I thought, I didn't know about that until Ben told me, but I think that's a pretty good idea as well. So if any function you're running, whether it's a presentation night or an annual ball or, sponsors function, whatever it is, and there's a cost, if you can say this is the cost of the ticket or the event, this is the donation component to the footy club, that donation component through the Australian Sports Foundation becomes a tax deduction.
And you're probably better to speak to ASF direct because they've given us some advice. If you set it up here and people donate through here, ASF take a percentage. Yeah, but the other option, and then they'll do the receipts. And they told us the easier way was for us to collect it, and then at the end of or in June, was identify what members were entitled to what tax benefit based on that split or whatever else, and then they would send them a tax deductible invoice. And that's a hell of a lot of extra paperwork on me. I'd rather pay the 5%. But
So would that be a form of like an Excel spreadsheet or something like that?
Yeah, that's what they said they would do. But talk to them.
Yep.
Because it's quite clear. Like our memberships, you get, a drink after the game and you get a lunch and blah, blah, blah. If I choose not to use any of those things, my whole membership's tax deductible. But if I use any of them, the tax office can come back on me if I claim the whole tax deduction. So you've got to have proper tax advice.
So, and Ben's the contact there. So we'll get Ben's details to the clubs, and he's more than happy to take a call. He's a dedicated resource for a number of leagues, and we're one of them. And it might just save or be able for your participants just to save a bit of money. So if you run a function just before the end of the tax year, they can get it back within a couple of weeks.
Just want to touch on the recognition awards that we do. So we do a monthly coach and volunteer of the month, and it's all this information goes onto the website as well in the recognition tab there. So we start the process from April, and then we have the nomination forms there on the website for the coaches and the volunteers. So you nominate your coaches and volunteers there. And it's really important that we recognize our coaches and volunteers because they're all volunteers. So it's really important that we recognize. And all the nominations that come through to us, we then nominate them for the AFL Victoria Awards and the AFL National Awards as well. So they get appreciated from there as well. So really a good platform for us for everyone here to recognize their coaches and volunteers. And and we also do our annual coach of the year and the volunteer of the year. We had a trainer of the year as well last year, but that's a TBC for this year. So we'll look into that. But this is a photo from 2023. And once the nominations come through, we'll then nominate them at AFL Victoria and AFL National Awards. So if you see the blue button here, recognition awards, that's where in March, we'll see all the information coming through with regards to the nomination form and the values of the VAFA and the steps to nominate them for the monthly awards. The best practice videos. So we do this at the end of the season. So we reach out to clubs who do really who feel that they are doing really well in that aspect. So we, as you can see, we did a video with Maddie. This was in 2023. So how did they do so well in the TSC Club Rewards program? We have Brunswick talk about inclusivity, and then Hawthorn talking about their Wings program. So if you have any great stories as to if your club does really well in volunteer management, sponsorship, I think we have De La Salle as well there talking about the sponsorship. Anything that your club does really well, just reach out to us and we'll be happy to do a video with the club so that this can be used as a resource for other VAFA clubs to fall upon and understand how the club does really good in that space. These are the themed rounds for 2025. So the first one would be the Tackler Feelings round, which would be round 2, doing the real stakes in May, BCNA, TAC and community umpiring round. These are the potential themed rounds that clubs can look into. Obviously, if we keep doing all these rounds, then it's just a themed round season for the VAFA. So you can choose the potential club themed rounds as well. That will be updated in the themed rounds tab. And we also have some, so this is from 2024 now, it will get changed to 2025 with the new dates on. And also at the bottom we have guides as to how you can plan a themed round and how you can deliver it as well. We have a video from Penny who has spoken about, from St. Mary's, who has spoken about that as well. So that's in the club share video, which you can look into as well. So this is the club head check survey. It's a screenshot from one of the slides. So these are the few suggestions that came through from club. And I've tried to, and it's really relevant, and through my experience in the last tour, I think now I have a better understanding how I can support the clubs as well. So if you see in developing a club strategy plan, so most of the clubs don't have a proper strategic plan. So what we have a template template for clubs, which has a strategic plan and SWOT analysis. So the club goes back, sits with the committee and chalks down what their goals are for the next 2 to 3 years. Does a SWOT analysis as well, and then send us for review, and we give few points that could be added. And the VAFA is involved in the later stages of the process as well. So that's something, if you're looking to build a strategic plan, please reach out to us and we can have a chat to the club. Sponsorship and revenue generation, again, so we if you all know, 31st Jan was the deadline for submitting your financials. So we didn't get to bring up the data, but that's on the priority list as well. So we'll we'll be we'll be sending out the data, which will have all the, like, what the clubs generally have as packages, player registrations, what do they generally charge. So that gives a good understanding for other clubs as to what the other clubs do. Developing a succession plan as well. So we did have one-on-one chats in November and December after the club health check survey. So we did 35 tailored volunteer roles to clubs with their club values, and gave them a position description, which then they can just edit according to their needs. So they have proper documentation for each role in their club. So if you need any of those position description, please reach out to the VAFA. Play HQ support, if you need any support through the season, I can come to the club and help the team managers with electronic scoring or how to manage a Play HQ platform. Support with Marsh Insurance. So if you have any questions around the insurance, please reach out to Darren, myself, or Dale. Again, the insurance information is on the VAFA website under the insurance tab. So what's in store? So the grants open. If you have any questions around the grants, please reach out to me or Darren. Heaps of coach education sessions coming through. Female coaching academy, women and girls coaching sessions as well. So quite a few coaching sessions coming through. Tackle Your Feelings program, one-on-one club support from us. So if you have if you need any support around these, please reach out to myself and Darren. And this is another one that we have added for 2025 season. So free facility audits for clubs. So I'll be coming to clubs and doing a facility audit, and that information will be provided to the club and will be with the VAFA. So when we work with the council and we need help with facility upgrade, this is what the data we have, and this is where the clubs are. So it makes it easier to work with the council when we have that information as well.